he needs to be in a place where they're going to fully support him. And I don't think he's gotten that this year. There's been opportunities to bring in players, trading Zubac, who had a really, really great year leading up to this year, not bringing back Brook Lopez, not doing the little things that he's asked for. And Bill Parcells said it, look, if you're going to cook the meal, you should be able to pick some of your groceries. And that's not the situation right now for him. So I just really feel that if they're going to bring him back, then they need to have them as a group, and he's a part of that circle. It ain't us, and then we'll tell you what you're getting. Right. We'll tell you who's going to be on this team. That's not it. Because I could just say this. Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley, all of these guys that everybody was worried about, he's done a fairly good job. No one is looking at this and saying the Lakers, they messed up hiring Luke Walton, or Luke Walton hasn't done a good job. It's too small of a sample size to say whether or not he can be a great coach. But he comes from the Phil Jackson school of coaching. He was there with Lute Olson, who is the same guy that had Steve Kerr. He coached with Steve Kerr. So when you look at his pedigree and what he's accomplished and the type of player that he is, you can't give a guy 3 years, especially when they're developing a bunch of guys, and then say, oh, he can't coach.
No, I mean, this year has just been a devastating year in terms of, injuries and all the distractions, trading deadline. No, he hasn't been given a fair shake. I think he deserves another opportunity to coach a team that can be healthy, and let's see what he does with a healthy roster, because we've seen up to Christmas time what he was able to do for this team. So I know he's not handpicked by Rob and Magic, but I still think he needs another year to see what he can do.
Would you give him another year with this team, or do you think it's not working?
I'm not quite sure I would give him another year.
Tell him, Scottie.
To be honest, he wasn't given a fair shake, but that's just part of the NBA. You were giving the best player in the game, and a lot of teams don't have that. But in all fairness to him, he had some pieces there that he could have won with. There's always a 7th and an 8th seat that you can always fall in terms of postseason, and he's not falling into those categories. So, when you're lacking and the team is not making any progress, there has to be some changes.
Look, there was speculation that maybe they would try to pluck Doc Rivers just from across the hallway with the Clippers. Doc Rivers saying, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Doc Rivers ain't signed no papers yet. That's what I heard.
Now, Woj reporting that, in fact, he and Steve Ballmer reached a long-term agreement, but as Richard knows, has not signed that yet. But both sides are very happy with it. Scottie, you guys have talked a lot about the influence Phil Jackson had on you and Michael and that team through both three-peats. Is there a guy out there that you think is the Phil Jackson for LeBron?
Phil Jackson.
Phil ain't coming back.
That would be my God.
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation because
no, it's not.
We haven't seen LeBron at this stage of his career, so we don't really know how much of a team LeBron will be able to carry in the next year or so. So he definitely is going to need maybe 1 or 2 other All-Stars. We know that
that's the more important factor
that he's had in the past. He needs more better players
and shooters.
So
if they move along from Luke Walton, the obvious choice is Ty Lue.
Absolutely.
That took him to 4 straight finals. He's very comfortable with him, and has a lot of respect for Ty Lue. That is the obvious choice.
A former Laker who has an excellent coaching track record, who has done the work. So
Phil Jackson
we'll have to look there.
Also.
Yeah. I think coaching is great, but you got to get some pieces.
That's. Look.
Listen, man.
That's where Magic.
You can't have the best team every year. Some years you just. Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
You're just going to have injuries.
It's not going to happen.
Situations that happen. But look, if you let's say whoever you bring in, let's say that the Pelicans do not send Anthony Davis there. Let's say that no other All-Star decides to come there.
They're not.
And they're not. Okay, you say they're not. I think Anthony Davis, they might ship him someplace else. So now the Lakers are just looking at him and a bunch of young guys. Look, I love T. Lue, and I think T. Lue's a very, very good coach. T. Lue has been a manager of high-level talent, not necessarily a developer of younger talent. Yeah. Now is he the guy to develop younger talent?
I'm with Scottie, though. I think if they can't get someone to sign there, I don't think Anthony Davis is the only guy you can trade for. I would be knocking on Washington's door for Bradley Beal. I would be trying to get, because regardless of the coaching and who should coach and how good, what they're good at, LeBron James only has so many years left. He is a diminishing asset. He is aging. That's how aging works. He is not going to be as healthy, as good as he was earlier in his career. You need to get him some help so you can use this time with him. This is it. He's not going to be the same player in a couple years.
Regardless
of
how much it costs.
Now.